Hello, welcome to TRDR.tv. My name is Robert Sievers. Today we're here with a special guest, Dan Leask from InkedTrader.com. How are you doing today, Dan?
I'm good. How are you, Robert?
I'm doing well. I'm glad we finally got this interview set up because I know it took us a little while. We had a lot of technical difficulties on both of our ends.
Yeah, round of
So
applause to us. For those of you out there, Robert and I have been trying to get this interview going for about 2 months now. I'm sure many of you tried to tune in and we've kind of failed, but like persistent traders, we stayed with this and here we are today. So I'm excited to do this. Thank you.
exactly, it takes that discipline, and so I'm glad that the people that are watching today, probably have a little bit of that similar discipline and will be better traders because of it. I'm hoping.
Very
So
much so. Very much so. Conviction to stay with it, right?
exactly. So should we get started with the interview?
Go ahead, man.
All right. So the first question I got is why the Inked Trader?
It's kind of a funny story. So I guess I was just a lonely retail trader just starting off. I started to find my way, have some bigger days, and like most traders, boastful, posting my P&Ls on Twitter and on Facebook. And I had a buddy reach out to me who was an old friend in high school. And he's like, man, you got a really crazy story. Like, you're making good money. It's really interesting. And we kind of coined the term Ink Trader at the time. And he's like, why don't you start blogging? And for me, I wasn't so much along the lines of what he wanted me to do, but one very important thing for traders is to keep a journal, and that was one thing I always found as a chore. So to me, the blog was going to be a way for me to keep a journal daily of my trades, which would help me and hopefully, in turn, help other people out there. And from there, everything just kind of progressed. And I got some recognition, some notoriety. I got a lot of followers, and I really came to the conclusion that I had a knack for this, and I was seeing things that I could help other people teach or help teach other people, and from there, InkedTrader was born.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I mean, like the thing that I first realized when I saw that it was Inked Trader, of course, I kind of thought obviously that it was like a contract, how a contract gets inked when it gets finished, and so
Right.
that's what I assumed. And then it wasn't actually until I read your bio that I saw that you had a bunch of tattoos, and I mean, it looks like it's took a couple hours. I don't have any tattoos myself, so I don't know exactly how long, but tens of
Uh,
hours would be my guess.
Hundreds of hours.
Hundreds of
Hundreds.
hours. There we go.
And I'm serious when I say that.
Some more
And
devotion
it's
right
funny
there.
because
So.
the my bank, for my business checking account up until
Mhm.
recently thought I was a tattoo artist and I sold ink.
Okay.
That's what they thought I did. But I wanted to figure out a way to combine something that represented me and also represented day trading, especially into the name of my business. And again, at the time it was just me trying to blog and make a catchy name for myself, and it stuck. And to this day, I don't think the marketing could have worked out any better. I love the branding. So
Oh, I think it's good. It's like you have a good trademark. It's a good brand going on. So,
exactly.
well, my next question is though, what kinds of tattoos do you have? Well, why did you choose those images? And for
So
those of you who want to see what images, you can actually see it on your website,
Yeah, I
inktrader.com,
mean,
and the header about me.
as I try and show, I'm
Okay.
covered. I think most guys and girls, for that matter, who have tattoos, they go through their progression. I got my first one at 16, and by like 21, I have all these random tattoos all over my plate, all over my body. And then, as I got into my adult years, I knew I really wanted to get a lot of ink done, but I never had the artist. And then when I found my artist, loved his work. At that point, it's an investment into yourself and the time that it takes to go into it. So, we took the armor approach because it symbolizes life. You need to be strong in life, and that's the overall symbolism of the entire piece that I have. And then within that piece, we have special things that are meaningful to me. I have my son's name. I don't know if you could see that,
Okay. Yeah,
Braden.
Braden.
My last name. So I'm covered. All of the jewels and gems, they all represent birthstones of my family,
Okay.
or myself or my children. So there's a lot of meaning behind that in itself.
So it's almost just kind of a timeline of the different things that have
Exactly,
happened
exactly.
throughout your life, and
Exactly. And you know what? It really, when things get tough, and that things get tough for everybody,
of course.
it helps me just visually remember, like, stick with it, stay through it. There's always a better outcome at the end. So,
All right. Well, that was a great answer. It was more than you expect from people when you ask, oh, well, why'd you pick that? "Oh, I thought it was a cool, tattoo or something. So, but it was much deeper than I was expecting. That's a good
yeah.
answer.
And I mean, again, my people, you have to unless you understand tattoos, you have to respect the time that's gone into this. I'm talking hundreds of hours, multiple years, 3, 4, 5 sessions a month sometimes. My arm alone probably has 20 to 30 sessions over it. So
Wow.
it's not something like you could walk in your local tattoo shop, you get a tattoo and you leave. And I think that ties into day trading, the type of commitment that goes into it. It's not something for the faint of heart. On the latter side of that, it's also like a therapy for me. It's really difficult to have somebody inflict pain on you for multiple hours. You really have to dig deep and go to that happy place in your head.
I bet.
It becomes like a therapy at some degree.
Well, on kind of a similar note, I guess, about the discipline and kind of a little bit of what I would imagine a little bit of pain. You also said that before you were a trader, you joined the Marines at 17. So
Yeah,
can you
so
tell us a little bit about that? Why the Marines?
my uncle was in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
In the United States, the Marine Corps is one of the most prestigious branches. And joining at 17, my mind, the reasons for me joining weren't what they should have been. It was to get my parents off my butt for not wanting to go to college. Probably a lot of ego driven behind that. Just there had been some, just wanting to do it. The challenge, never really thinking about once you're through boot camp, what's going to go down. I just was, boot camp, I want to become a Marine. I can do that type of stuff. And then, post boot camp is when reality sets in. So I joined at 17. 2 weeks after graduating high school, I was in boot camp, and my friends are living the life of a graduated senior.
A
So,
little bit different than.
exactly. But you know what? I can never take it back. It was a great decision. I learned so much from it. It really helped me become the man I am today in a physical sense, because it taught me how far I could push my body physically. And in order to be able to push your body physically past a breaking point, you have to have it in mentally too. So I think that carries over into trading as well, into a lot of different qualities of life. You can't do physical things past your comfort zone and keep going without having that mental grit overall. So that was something that it really instilled in me. Not to mention, it made me more anal and organized than I already am. So.
All right. Well, I also read on your bio that you also did some personal training as well, which is kind of how you actually got into trading in the first place. Because from what I read, that you were actually doing some training of some guys who owned some hedge funds or a little bit something like that. Can you tell us about what originally motivated you, what you originally thought about the stock markets? Kind of how
Right.
you
So
got into trading, basically.
it's funny because in my personal training years, this was 2008. I was pretty anti-stock market at the time. The market, the economy had collapsed.
Yeah.
All of the hardworking Americans that is pretty much my type of family, my friends, they all took monster hits. So I was anti anything stock market. I was a personal trainer, and I'm fortunate. The area in New Jersey that I grew up in and live in, we are a stone's throw out of New York City.
Okay.
So we have a lot of the Wall Street guys, hedge fund guys flow out of the city into the area where I live, and it's funny because I trained one hedge fund manager, and to this day. I would talk to him now, but when I was training him, I was totally afraid to ask him any questions about the stock market because I had no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what a hedge fund was. I thought it was the craziest thing in the world. And then I actually had another client who come to me, who this was the one that really sparked my interest about day trading and the lifestyle. He was just a day trader, long hair, ponytail, full beard. Worked his own hours, golfed all the time, and it really opened my eyes to the lifestyle. He was my type of guy because he was himself, and that was really the first eye opener into the type of lifestyle and financial freedom that day trading could provide. But I'd never crossed the bridge until later on into actually really learning and studying and becoming super interested in day trading.
Okay, yeah, because I read a little bit again on your blog about the first couple months of trading, and it seems like since I've done a couple of these interviews, it seems like that is kind of a typical story. I mean, obviously, like somebody kind of makes a little bit of money. The difference is that yours is a little bit atypical in the fact that you got like a 1,200% or 1,200% return. So
Right.
that's a little bit more extreme than most people get. The little first hook that most traders have. So
The
can you,
beginner's luck.
yeah, I
Um,
know a little bit about that. But can you tell us about your experience?
Yeah, so the pot stock bubble, marijuana stocks had just exploded. I had no idea about anything in the stock market. A good friend of mine and I were like, "Hey, let's round up 500-600 bucks and invest them into some random pot tickers." And literally within 4 weeks, we had a 1,200% return. And me, I'm thinking, is it this easy? Like, I need more money. Let's dump it all in. And I locked in no gains. And 4 weeks later, we were completely reversed. We had, no realized gains. Actually later on, a couple weeks later, we were started going in the red. I ended up, liquidating all those positions for flat, if not losses on some of them.
Okay.
But that was my first taste overall. And that was actually what catapulted me into learning about technical analysis because at the time, I still thought fundamentals and really digging deep into companies was the only way to trade stocks, and that I have no interest in that. And I'm a realist where I know if I don't have an interest in something, I'm never going to stick with it. And that's when I discovered technical analysis and being a very visual
Okay.
guy, attention to detail. I really was kind of blown away, and that was what moved me to studying, taking the next 4 months, not trading anything, and taking 4 solid months to learn everything I could about what I thought I could at least, and about becoming a day trader. And then, of course, trying to become a day trader after that.
Okay. What kind of resources did you use during those 4 months?
Everything I could get my hands on that was free. YouTube, downloads, books. I read a good amount of books, but I tried to get more to trading psychology. Once I realized that everybody says that 90% of day traders fail. It's all
Yeah.
about discipline. Once I really realized the truth behind that, and I'm telling myself, man, you're such a disciplined guy, you're going to have a leg up on half of these people behind you trying to do the same thing right off the bat. So I really started to dive into psychology, the psychology of trading, and
Okay.
how that worked because the general understanding of trading, it's pretty basic. Most people with average intelligence can figure it out. Where most people lack and fail is in complete self-control and discipline. So that was where I really focused my attention on.
Okay. And you had obviously a little bit of experience in those fields from being in the army, so
Yeah, well, yeah, Marines.
yeah,
So
sorry, we're being the Marines.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
joking.
apologize.
Can't call an Army guy a Marine. Um, I did, but you know what? I've always had it my whole life. I've always been, I've always just been a very disciplined person. I've always been into my health, my wellness. Very spiritual person. Do a lot of meditation. So to me, again, it was. I think when most people become day traders, they don't realize that they're setting on a path to not become a day trader, but to better their character. If you want to become a successful day trader, you need to dive so deep into yourself
Yeah.
and discover yourself and better your character in so many more ways. And for me, it was just another avenue to do so.
Okay. Excellent. What types of assets do you typically trade?
So
Has that changed a little bit since you started, or are you still
it,
doing mostly stocks?
it certainly has. I'm still no, still strictly stocks. I
Okay.
don't trade futures, forex, anything like that. I did get in ETFs a little bit this past beginning of the year,
Okay.
but definitely strictly stocks. I'd say what's changed is the price per share that I do trade.
Okay.
When I first started trading, I was small account, so your psychology is, well, I need to buy cheap stocks.
Yeah.
Not really understanding that I could have had significant gains day trading higher price per share stocks. So I focused on stocks under $10. And then the stocks that started to pop out to me and stick to me were the big runners were low float biotech stocks. So organically, I found my way into trading low float biotechs. And to this day, I look for every morning, a biotech that has a low float, that has some type of, bullish news out. And I focus on those. Besides those, what I also look for in a broader spectrum are just momentum stocks. So, it could be a 50, 60, $100 stock. As long as it's got some type of news, we're seeing a gap up in the morning, we have some volume, it's on my radar for a trade to watch or for a technical setup.
Okay. So a lot of your trading then is gap trading, I'm guessing, and gap trading and
Exactly.
trend trading. Okay.
Yep, totally. So, I call it momentum trading. A lot of people call it the gap and goes. I personally focus on opening range breakouts, which in the grand scheme of things, they're all the same thing.
Okay.
But in the stocks I trade, you can see, these guys on Twitter or, other chat rooms. We're all trading the same tickers every day in and day out. We might not be on the same side of the trade. Some
Yeah.
might be long, some might be short, but those are the momentum stocks that I look to trade overall.
Okay. My next question is, how long does a typical trade last for you?
Whew. Uh, I mean, that's a hard one to answer. Some of my best and most profitable trades, they could last, 20 minutes to an hour. Some trades last 30, 40 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't ever hold overnight. I don't ever hold for multiple hours. I'm cash at the end of every trading day. And actually, my main focus is strictly morning. That's
Okay.
where my bread and butter is.
Well, it's
Once
mostly action is in the morning, so I mean, it makes you have a lot of volatility
exactly.
that you can kind of take advantage of. So
Exactly. To digress back to what we were talking about, my client who's a personal trainer, is a day trader. I would train him at, I think it was like 12 or 1 every day. And I could never figure out, what did this guy do that he just rolled out, he was done trading and he just came to the gym. And some days he was pissed and other days he was in the happiest mood ever. And it didn't take me until I actually became a day trader to completely understand and have empathy for every day he was miserable and every day he was happy. But again, I realized that he mostly likely to this day was probably somebody who traded the same type that I do, really focusing on that morning momentum, the volume, the big moves, and it's get in and get out. I don't really like to hang around and try and think it's going to go to the moon. So
I mean, I think it's a good strategy. It sounds like it's been working out for you. So my last question today is going to be, how can curious users find you and know which of your services is basically right for them?
So obviously, you can find me at InkedTrader on Twitter. If you really want to dive into my trading style and what I specifically do, go to my YouTube channel, InkedTrader. You're going to get a ton of great info there. But besides that, just send me an email. My email is dan@InkedTrader.com. I answer everybody's email. I think people that email me are blown away when the 7 pages they sent me is matched with 10 because you get life stories, you get people divulging such crazy information to you, but those are the people that I love to talk to because you know that they are motivated. And as a personal trainer, I had to always find what motivated people, and to wrap this into kind of what I do. So the biggest part of my service and what I offer is mentorship. All right.
Okay.
And I had so many years as a personal trainer that it was kind of an easy transition for me because, in the gym, I can do a ton of different exercises than, little soccer mom can do. And when she comes to me, I can't start throwing those movements at her. I need to find her motivations and find what drives her and then work a program around that, figure out her personality. Trading is the same way. A lot of my traders that I mentor right now, they're not trading my style of trading, okay? If their
Okay.
personality matches that, of course we focus on opening range breakouts and all that good stuff. But majority of the time, I'm allowing these traders to find themselves in the markets because that's intuitively what's speaking to them the most. And my job is to kind of cater to that, help them learn, and really just let them do their own thing. I don't try and hard press my strategy because there's so many ways to trade, so many ways to be successful, and that's really what I try and focus on in the day to day.
Okay, well, I mean, that's awesome. I think that was really well answered, Dan. And I mean, it seems like you have kind of a really good progression from where you started out. You kind of started out in the Marines, and you kind of improved yourself, built upon yourself, and then you took that and you started teaching it to other people. As being a personal trainer, and then now you've taken all of that and you're applying it to InkedTrader.com, and so you're applying it to more of teaching obviously day trading. So that's something
Yeah.
that I respect, and I highly recommend that our users come check out InkedTrader.com. Like you were saying, I mean, I checked out your YouTube this morning, and there's stuff on opening range breakout flags, identifying a short squeeze, shorting a gap or shorting a gap and trade, taking the stops out. So there's a lot of free information up there, and so I highly recommend that if you're interested in checking out InkedTrader.com, go to check out the YouTube. There's also a blog on your website which has even more information, like 5 things you must do to become a successful trader, end of the day trade rules, and then there's
Stand up desk. As I'm,
exactly.
as I'm
I
standing here.
respect the stand up desk. It's it's different than anything I could do. I couldn't manage to stand up for hours at a time. So you already have that discipline that I don't, and respect you for it.
Yeah, I will also say on that as I draw a blank here. I apologize. I just drew a blank to what I was going to say there.
No, don't worry about it.
Um, I want to
Is
wrap this back into really quick to about my service and I learned when I first started off of as much free information as I could get. I think it's important for me to give back to the community and to the new day traders. So again, don't hesitate to ever shoot me an email if you have questions. Drop a message on my YouTube. I answer every single person. I'm not in this business to run a 1,000-person chat room, because I don't personally get satisfaction over that. The people in my room that are with me, that I mentor, I talk to every day. I don't even have rapport with these people. I have a friendship with these people. So when they do well and they're successful, that is fulfilling to me. Just like when a client loses weight or reaches a specific goal, working out. And I think that a lot of other services overlook that. I'm in the business to help other people, because in return, I get a fulfilling feeling from that, which just helps me send out a positive vibe to the universe, and it all comes back in full circle. So I think that's something that I really want everybody to understand specifically. I'm about quality and not quantity. And I've done a very good job at finding awesome people that are really motivated to learn and to get on the simulator and understand that there's a process to this. If it takes 2 to 3 months until they show consistency on a simulator, I'm not going to put them into a real market environment to risk real capital. So yeah, I think that's what we'll finish up, man.
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, so yeah, it sounds like you've really you developed like a personalized kind of style to your teaching, and it's something that it sounds like obviously you took a little bit from from personal training. Like you can't really
Right.
personally train 100
Same.
people at one time, and it's kind of the same kind of thing with trading. You can't
Right.
really get a good job. You can't actually really teach everybody the fundamentals and help them improve on a personal basis, obviously, by
Everybody
doing it
is
100
so
people at a
different.
time. So
Everybody's so different. Everybody's personality is different. Everybody's learning style and learning curve is different.
yeah.
And to treat, a whole entire room, or to have one, cookie cutter program of this is how you learn trading stocks. I don't think that that's the way to go.
No.
I also think that the best education is self-education. So I encourage my traders and the traders that I mentor to find answers themselves. Look at Google. That's going to help you retain the information and remember it. Not just saying, "Hey Dan, what's a limit order? Or what's a market order?" Or whatever the question might be. To go out there and seek the answer. And this is something that everybody can do. This is how I learned, how I taught myself how to day trade, is by every time your brain has a question, answer it, and then move on to the next one. And within 6 months to a year, the knowledge base and the amount of knowledge you'll have will put you on a good path to be successful.
And you'll also have, some pride in your ability to kind of teach yourself, as well. Obviously, it's important to have, like kind of a self-built experiences and self-built intelligence, so that way you have, you have the ability to have confidence in that strength and that ability, because it's not just passed on to you from somebody else. So I totally agree with that. And yeah, unfortunately, I think that's all the time that we have for today. Dan, is there anything else that you want to add before we go?
No, that's it. Just bravo to us for getting this done. So I appreciate you hanging in there, man. And
Of course.
I'm glad. It was a good time.
No, I appreciate that you hung in there as well. It took us a little while, but we got it done, and I think this is one of our better interviews. So
We just locked in a good game.
I really appreciate it, Dan. Have a nice day, man.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us at Trader TV. I highly recommend that you go check out InkedTrader.com. Like you said, there's a lot of free information on his YouTube and also on his blog, which is on his website. I highly recommend checking it out, and I wish you the best of luck in your future trades. Thank you, and have a nice day.